Right now, there isn't a YouTuber that needs their ego checking more than KSI. And I say that as a long-time fan, it's pretty difficult to see the recent stuff that's been happening with KSI. Now, for those of you that aren't on Twitter and aren't aware of what happened last night, let me take you to this. KSI had a little hissy fit about someone in his team, this guy called W.A.D.E, playing both sides, when in reality, he's just being as neutral as possible. If you don't know who W.A.D.E is, he's basically this guy that talks about boxing on his YouTube channel and on his Twitter. But recently, he got involved with KSI and the whole Misfits group. And since then, he has been very public about some of the weird stuff that Misfits have been doing. You know, he keeps it neutral. For example, the tag team boxing match, he said, it seems like it could make a joke out of the boxing industry, but if it's done well enough, he thinks it could be a cool idea. So he's very neutral in that sense. But to KSI, any public talk about him in a way that you're not sucking him off is seen as being two-faced. So if you're not aware of what's even sparked this video, basically the other day, KSI tweeted, "Man, fuck W.A.D.E. This W.A.D.E guy plays all sides, trying to please everyone. You are so fake. Oh my god. Fuck you and everything you stand for, you two-faced cunt. This man acts like he knows everything about boxing. He doesn't know shit. You're not that guy. Can't believe Sharky let this snake into my box. Fuck off." Now, when I first saw these tweets, I was like, oh my god, this W.A.D.E guy must be awful. He must have done something really bad to KSI. But then I looked into it a little bit more, and I figured out the only thing this guy said was that he thinks Tommy versus Jake Paul 2 would sell more than KSI versus Jake Paul.
Is this year. And we heard from Jake in the Impulsive podcast, he does not think that the KSI fight sells like a Tommy Fury rematch and a Floyd Mayweather fight. And I don't know that I can disagree with him right now. I don't, because they pulled some legitimately crazy numbers. And while I used to be on the train that Jake and KSI did similar numbers, I don't know that that's the case anymore. And
I mean, talk about a fucking overreaction. Jesus Christ, you're a 30-year-old man. People are allowed to have opinions about your fights, especially when it's a well-educated opinion, because the guy was going based off of Logan Paul versus KSI 2 and Tommy Fury versus KSI 2, and Tommy Fury versus KSI 2 apparently did 700k pay-per-view, and that's what made KSI flip out. KSI likes to portray his image of being the guy that has so much fame, so much money, but his friends keep him humble. He's a humble man. He don't have yes men in his camp. But quite clearly, you fucking do have yes men in your camp. Otherwise, why would you react like this over someone's opinion? KSI also likes to portray himself as the guy that can take criticism, the big famous YouTuber that can take criticism, you know, one of the few. But yeah, I guarantee you, he won't make a Reddit video this week because of it, because his Reddit's just been filled with hate towards him for being such a baby towards W.A.D.E. Or if he does do a Reddit video, he will make excuses for it. He'll say, oh, I was angry at the time, guys. It was unprofessional on my end, but I was just so angry. I didn't mean what I said. But yet, he kept this whole thing up for an entire day and a half until later in the day-to-day, basically, where he ran everything he said back. But basically, what happened was KSI said that string of tweets, and then basically all hell broke loose. They went on a Twitter space, they all argued for a bit, and then W.A.D.E actually just ended up getting fired on the spot because KSI's manager is probably the biggest yes man around. He acts like a literal child when he's also an old fucking guy who realistically should be more professional than KSI, because he's managing KSI, but yet he acts like an influencer himself. Most managers don't want attention, but this guy, Mams Taylor, is involved in almost everything on social media when it comes to KSI's fights, which, in my opinion, a manager shouldn't be doing. A manager should be handling the behind-the-scenes stuff and being professional, not acting like a man-child.
I don't know what Logan said, but definitely was nowhere near 300, so I don't know who you're...
Yeah,
I'm telling you guys, the source told me the numbers that Logan confirmed 2 days ago on his own podcast.
Maybe he means part 1, or I don't know, but I know part 2 did.
No, part 1 did 1.1. I know.
Oh yeah, part 2 did more than part 1, just so you know.
Again, and I say this in my videos, I say, this is what my source told me. This is what I
don't know who your source is. What does that mean to me?
I don't, but I'm just telling you.
Okay, my grandma just came back to life and said that it did 75 million. That's my source.
I mean, I think that right there just proves to you how mature KSI's manager is. Like, I understand the point he was trying to make, but there are much better ways to convey that point than just acting like actual child. Instead, just have an actual conversation with him instead of trying to belittle him and downplay what he has been told. And you know what? Maybe even cite some sources yourself, because that would probably help your case. KSI's manager then went on to have a little piss fit about it and then ended up basically firing him live on a Twitter space. Once again, very professional, mate. Well done. Then Kavos calls KSI out on this situation. He asked KSI for just any kind of reason as to why they're mad at W.A.D. Because KSI said behind the scenes, W.A.D. has been chatting a lot of poo apparently. So this is KSI's excuse. The initial hatred towards a tag team boxing match that he put out publicly but privately loved the idea. He literally just says and does what the public want to hear while privately trying to please everyone. I'm done with it. Be your true self publicly and privately towards me. Whereas if you actually looked at things, I don't know the private side of things obviously, but if you looked at the public side of things, W.A.D. quite clearly stated that he was a bit skeptical about it because it's something new to boxing and he didn't want it to make boxing look like a joke. But he said if it was done properly, he would love the idea. And the thing is, that was most people's reaction to the tag team boxing announcement. So I don't know why they have an issue with W.A.D. saying that publicly. I guess you could say because he's on the Misfits team. But it's a good look publicly to have someone on the team of Misfits being a bit skeptical about stuff because it shows it's not all yes men and you have someone with a level head in the camp. And KSI wasn't mad at people like FaZe Sensei, all these other people, even W.A.D.E, his old trainer, all these other people for publicly stating that it could mess shit up and be seen as a cringe fest. But KSI wasn't mad at those people. Okay, it just kind of seems to me that they were just looking for an excuse to fire him because he kept on speaking the neutrality side of it instead of sucking KSI off. Maybe he said something privately that pissed him off, but I feel like KSI's just having a bit of an ego trip as usual. And to KSI's surprise, no one is on his side in this situation. Some of his little fanboys, but that's expected. They're the ones that will literally not hop off of his penis for even 1 second to give it a rest. Everyone on his Reddit, in his Twitter replies, everywhere, even probably his Facebook, they were all shitting on him because he quite clearly was wrong in this situation, and he probably hates to admit that because his ego is a lot higher than he would lead his fan base to believe. But obviously, PR stunt, definitely not real apologies, but they tweeted apologies, him and Mams, actually, funnily enough, within the minute of each other. That's how you know they're real apologies. And it was definitely a coincidence, definitely not a PR stunt. No damage control involved there. But basically, KSI tweeted, I'm sorry for my tweets, it was way out of character. We've already spoken privately, but I wanted to publicly apologise too. And then KSI's manager also said, I apologise to W.A.D. for allowing my emotions and passion to take over by firing my own spaces. That wasn't cool and I'm sorry I did that. Once again, within the minute of each other. Almost like if you were an actual manager and did your job properly, you wouldn't have had this situation in the beginning. And this is one of the main issues because this shouldn't have even been a problem. I think KSI should have realised that calling this guy out publicly like this wasn't going to end well. And that's why I would like to call him out for this specific hypocrisy because he always has a go at Jake Paul for having constant yes men in his camp. But yet he's too unself-aware to see that his manager is probably his biggest yes man. I mean, quite clearly, if he allows him to act like this, if he was a true manager, he wouldn't let you show yourself up like this in the public eye. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's just my opinion on this whole situation. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would like to know your opinions and takes on this. Do you think KSI has an ego or not? Because if you say no, you're probably wrong, or you're just 12. Like, you're probably just really young, too young to see the hypocrisies in everything KSI has been saying recently. But yeah, KSI, mate, if you're seeing this video, calm down a bit. Bring yourself back down to reality. Okay, I understand it might be difficult whilst you've got all this public attention and fame and you're doing so well in your career, but the reason your fans like you so much is because you're a relatable, down-to-earth person, or at least that's how you would probably want to portray yourself, even if it's not true. And recently, you've not really been that guy. But yeah, that's all for me for today's video, boys. I do appreciate you for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. Follow my Twitter. I'm funny on there. I'm not, but shut up. And yeah, it's gonna be all for me for today's video, boys. See you in the next one. Peace out. Don't have an ego.
If I could take you up in paradise, of course. If you would tell me I'm the